Hello, welcome to Loremaster's Lair. I'm your Loremaster, here today for another God video. And it is also another achievement reached, as this will be us ending the Gods Explored and Inner Sea Faiths, the second of the books in 1E which just had full write-ups of multiple deities. So let's give a big hand in welcoming Dahak, the Endless Destruction, the God of Evil Dragons. As always, let us start by looking at where you can find information on Dahak yourself. Gods and Magic for each edition is always a good place to start looking, and the new Divine Mysteries book joins the ranks of must-haves. But the one place with a full write-up is the book Inner Sea Faiths. Finally, his lair can be found in the book Planar Adventures. Unfortunately, no side tangents, as I go on, the side comments I can make of stuff like dragons is already said elsewhere, so. As the story at least used to go, Dahak found himself born in the wastelands that would one day become hell. After a countless amount of time, he emerged and was enraged at how happy his father and siblings were. He destroyed his siblings and fought his father, until his mother, once Tiamat, now Shalatu, allowed him to get away safely to tend to his wounds, planning for his next attack. Dahak appears as a giant red dragon, with hints of the features of a black dragon. Part of why I am doing the video now is Shining Kingdom is upcoming, and I do not want to wait for the new names, but he is the size where he dwarfs even the form of other ancient dragons, most of them at least, and smoke constantly rises from his form. When Dahak learned that the Apsu was working to help seal the rogue beast Rovagug, he joined the fight with the intention of betraying his father. However, when the time came, he did not. Apsu took this as a time to try to bury the hatchet, but Dahak would not have it. Instead, he sent their battle into the future at an unknown time, the location Galorian. Which is why both gods have interest in the planet and continue to grow their forces to this day. Few on Galorian worship Dahak, the dragon deity, both distant, especially when it comes with overlap with Rovagug. But however, Dahak's faith is not purely savagery, as the followers of the Endless Destruction do have periods where they act reasonable and civil, only to rush to crush their enemies with overwhelming rage. Outside of that commonality, his faith can be found in dragons and kobolds, on Galorian, Triaxis, and beyond. Even humans, though most who actually know of his faith drift one way or the other. The clergy of Dahak is not concerned with the daily activities of the faith, but to prepare Galorian for the final battle. Therefore, any similarities between priests' daily lives are coincidental, unless it is recruiting or looking for the perfect battlefield. Dahak communicates with his priests mainly through nightmares, showing them visions connected to his endless rage and the end of the planet. Like all Chromatic Dragons, or whatever he would be considered now, we'll just continue with Chromatic Dragons. Chromatic Dragons, Dahak has some vanity about him, but he needs to hide his worship from goodly deities. This leads to represent temples hidden in underground caverns, often beneath cities. They are designed to awe visitors of the might of the endless destruction. Some are made by lone dragons or entire kobold tribes, but the most vast are made by dragons standing tall in his worship, usually in places where not many other people live. Dahak's realm is the Adamantine Morose, found in his birthplace of Hell, in an area now known as Cana. The realm is a maze of adamantine where Dahak stalks his prey, and where the prey fall and where any prey fail to entertain him well. There was a special blend of hellfire and acid known as the Well of Venom, made to destroy orbs of dragon kind. It would not hurt to add a few mortals to the soup. Now for miscellaneous information. The worship of Dahak is strongest in the Darklands. That said, one of his strongest champions has made several islands of the shackles their home. Several islands of the shackle their home, and his human faith has a presence in Tuvia, where they assist Armund's faith. There are two holy days of the faith: the Day of Amends, where worshippers try to convince a chromatic dragon to worship the Hawk, because despite being their patron, many chromatics dislike him as much as the metallic dragons do. The other, once every millennium, is the Release, where all worshippers of the Hawk cause as much destruction as possible. The Hawk's holy book is the Pyre of the Hawk, a book opposite of the Draconic Apsu, and was written by the same priest, except under much more torture. Now for his relationships, starting with the planar allies. Emissary Rixmar is a contract devil with a quill made from the Hawk's own teeth. He had his legs shattered by his previous patron due to his anger issues, but those just making the perfect voice for the Hawk. The Roiling Mass is a magma elemental, a sentient pool of lava. Made from the Hawk's very own breath, the creature only destroys. The Hawk's herald is Kororoth, a unique ice dragon, whose back is lined with black ice, each spire impaling the head of a metallic dragon. Kororoth's only purpose is to kill metallic dragons, and that's the only kind of summons he will respond to. As for relationships of other deities, nothing needs to be said about his relationship with Apsu. Calistria tried to have a pass with the dragon, if you will. There's said to be a scar hidden from her attempts to do so. And as residents of Hell, Asmodeus gets along fine with him, as does the ruler of Cana himself, Mephistopheles, though both these relationships focus on what can be gained from the other. Which brings us to the end of today's video, and the end of Inner Sea Faiths. Though definitely not the end of God videos. In fact, for the first half of this year, the back matter of 4 of the 6 Adventure Path books will involve full write-ups of deities. But we still have one more big 1E book before we move on to back matter only deities. And we still have other categories that have gods to examine. When we'll see you then.